Welcome back to another episode of Understanding. Today we are going to talk about fighting, understanding the aspect of fighting in League of Legends and how important is fighting compared to strategy. You know, a lot of people are talking about fundamentals, strategy, macro, and all of these things, but if you understand when your character is stronger than whoever can show up and how to translate that into an objective, it's already enough. There's little to no more strategy. Whoever is better is just better at fighting in League of Legends. I think, imagine you have a character. I think that's the best way to understand it. Imagine you have the most broken character of all time. You're tanky, you heal infinite amount, you one-shot everybody with one ability or one auto attack, and you're insanely fast. Think about how the game actually is going to go and how the game is going to end. Even if you're playing alone, if there's 5 enemies, 2 of them split pushing 3 in the mid lane trying to fight, you're not going to lose. You're just going to walk mid lane, kill everyone, walk top lane, kill him, walk bot lane, kill him, walk down mid lane, kill the turret, kill the inhib, and then the nexus, and they can't defend. Right? There's no strategy. The only point where you have strategy in League is when all of the characters are equal in strength, which in solo queue doesn't happen in 99% of games. Whoever is the strongest runs it down and wins. That's just how it goes. So in order to actually improve at League and win in League, what you have to do is improve at fighting in League. And I think it's kind of underrated. People always talk about strategy, macro, split pushing, this and that, but what about the micro? And I'm not even talking about micro mechanics and going crazy with weaving in an extra auto here and there. Just straight up running at people, being good enough to understand what you can do, what you cannot do, how to deal the most damage, how to survive the longest while doing that, and how to kill the opponent. And then translate that into a tower and or an inhib or whatever, right? Of course, there's some macro decisions that are baked in nowadays. Kill your lane turret, maybe roam. And then later on, it's get Baron and Siege. That's about the extent of strategy in League. It isn't think about it like this as well. If you start the game, enemy bot lane gets a quadra kill in the early game because your top laner TPs. Somehow they 2v4. Do you think the game is still winnable because you're good at strategy? Or do you think the game is lost because the enemy AD carries 4-0 will snowball his lane and it just becomes too strong to fight? And in some situations, of course, if you're an assassin, for example, you think, okay, AD carry might be fed, it's not that big of a deal, I can just kill him later. But in a lot of cases, first of all, it's gonna tilt your team, but all of these things don't really matter. Imagine if you're that OP character that I talked about earlier, you don't care if the enemy AD carry is 500-0. You only care about it because you're not that OP character, you don't know the limits of your character well enough to deal with this problem later on in the fighting area, right? That's why you get frustrated. That's why we talked about frustration yesterday. And today I just wanted to highlight the importance of actual fighting in League of Legends. Because somewhere along the lines, people made League into a chess type of game, which there is elements like that in League, of course, but certain characters beat other characters. And I think I even made a video about it, that League can be similar to chess in a lot of ways. Because of the lane setup, if you think about the game holistically. But the 1v1 in League of Legends is not very much like chess. So it's more like chess for pro play, where the draft matters a lot type of thing. But in solo queue, everybody just locks in their favorite character. It's a little bit less like chess, and it's a little bit more like Street Fighter, for example. Because if you know the mechanics of your character, and you can surprise your opponent and get kills like that and snowball, you're just going to be strong enough to fight and win the game like that, right? So I think the importance of fighting is very much underrated nowadays in League of Legends. The people who know how to fight are high elo. That's just what it is. It takes a long time to learn how to fight because there's over 150 other characters that need to know how to fight. And at some point, of course, you can take educated guesses and win, but it takes a long time. Some characters fight easier than others, but you also can't neglect the resources part, because how do you actually get to the point of being strong and being able to fight? You need to collect resources from minions, and in that way, but it's not really that difficult, you know. In the mid game, what is the strategy aspect? It's like, which map is open for me to go to and collect minions? Like, it's not like 500 IQ, oh my god, the enemy is here and there, enemy jungler is here and there, I need to, like, it's not that complicated. You just walk into the lane, maybe you freeze it, you get some money. Next objective comes up, you walk to the objective, right? That's the theory. And then if you're strong enough to fight and good enough to fight, then it's back to your fighting. Because once you're at the objective, strategy is worthless, in a way. You know, holistic strategy is worthless. You all just need to know how to fight better and kill the other 5 dudes while reacting basically to what your team is doing in a little bit, you know, or like kind of directing your team in a way. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's why enchanters are so strong and so much more intuitive to play. Let's put it like that, because easy is not right. But if you play Janna, your team runs at the enemy team, but your team is impossible to die. You shield them and you heal them with your ult, and your team just wins. That's why playing Enchanter supports is so much more intuitive to do well on in League of Legends in general. You know, if you're a proactive Enchanter player, you will rise the ranks pretty fast in comparison to a fighting character, because you need to actually know the fighting. With Janna, you can make up for the bad fighting that people don't really know how to do, because the fights are pretty much even. At any given elo, you'll come out ahead more often than not if you know what you're doing a little bit with Janna, you know? That's my experience from playing Janna, at least. But yeah, not putting it down, like, I really enjoy that kind of playstyle. It's just completely different from learning how to fight, you know? Fighting takes a little bit longer to learn, instead of supporting the other fighting people on your team and keeping them alive. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Fighting, very important. Lock in, learn how to fight. I'll do the same. Let's go. 2025, okay. Enjoy. Have a nice New Year's as well.